I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Vermillion County Alcoholic Beverage Board. Let the record reflect that it is May 14th, 2026. It's 10:31 a.m. I'm Officer Gillum. I work with the State Excise Police. I'll be leading this hearing. We are missing one of our board members, but we do have three of us here and we can vote on whatever agenda items come up. Just as a matter of record, this is being recorded with audio and video equipment and will become part of public record. It's for you. Sure. If you want to introduce yourselves, please.
Cynthia Myers, Mindy Buster.
I'm assuming you're here for Elroy's?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be offering sworn testimony, so I need you to take an oath. So you're gonna be offering sworn testimony?
Yeah.
So I need you to take an oath, so if you would raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the answers you've given on your application or any testimony you give to questions asked by the board be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Is it easier if you come up here?
Yeah, because I keep hearing it well. And my left one's not working right, so
I know,
that's why I keep turning because they're humming and buzzing. And
I got you. You can stand or be seated, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so would you just please introduce yourself for the record, please?
Travis Holloway.
And you're the.
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you owned the business?
7.5 years.
Okay, I've not met you before. This is not an area that I typically cover, but you are here today. You have a renewal with 2 violations.
Yeah.
We're looking at Elroy's 860 North 7th Street in Clinton, permit number RR8335076.
Right.
So the first violation occurred on August 28th, 2025. This was a complaint-driven violation. There's an issue with smoking where prohibited, which we've taken care of.
Yeah.
That was just a paperwork issue where
Yeah.
they had to file a smoking exemption.
We didn't even know when we took over. Nobody told us that the smoking didn't care, like grandfather in or whatever. We didn't know we had to go fill paper out
Not
until years later when we were told.
Yeah, not a huge deal. And then the second was 2 charges for scope of liquor permit and scope of beer permit. You're not allowed to buy any alcohol through local.
Well, see, we didn't know because the alcohol that she bought, she was using to marinate meat and for cooking. It wasn't to be sold. So we didn't even know that, we had to use the order through the distributor to use that to cook with. She thought she could just go, because it was cooking, not serving. So it was a misunderstanding or.
Well, okay. I've been doing this job and I've heard that excuse before. And I've only seen one case where somebody was actually cooking with it. Usually people get behind on their taxes or behind with their vendors and they're just going and buying it from the store.
In this case, it's actually true.
I'm gonna see if the officers noted that. Believe it or not, if there's some extenuating circumstances, they generally will add that into case reports. What was the cook making with this stuff?
You don't even know. She was cook. I don't cook. She won't let me in her when she's cooking. Probably, my guess would be like beer batter for onion rings, stuff like that. Marinating a brisket or pork butt or something. She doesn't like people knowing how she cooks because they caught me. It's bad too.
You behind Old Dreamland,
Pardon me?
behind Old Dreamland.
No, that's my Dreamland. That's Jerry's. We are, you remember where Jock Ladies is at? On 9th Street, 2 blocks over.
Oh,
It was the north, back in the 70s. It was the North Pole.
Okay,
Now it says. I don't know what it was before the soul. We moved up here in 78 and I was 8 years old. I have no idea what it was before that.
Okay.
But then it's been a bar since like the 1940s.
For a long time.
Yeah. We changed it a lot.
Y'all have horrible reception out here.
No, we know. I don't know, I haven't really tried my new, because we're on Verizon now, but the phone we had before, we'd come in down in the hill climb and we couldn't call anybody. We'd be walking all over my cousin's yard. They did that in Park County a lot. You know, you can't, and then they have that Covered Bridge Festival. I mean, I'm just saying for emergencies and stuff, but they finally put out a tower, I know, at Brands or Bridgeton. Oh, yeah. I think maybe it's fire department, I don't know, whatever, it's outside town, we're pulling, there's great big Wi-Fi, but that's the only place. Yeah, we hit Park County and I don't forget it.
Is this all original woodwork? Or has it been,
I assume. I don't know.
I'm a carpenter.
Oh, I have no idea. Been like this as long as I know.
I can't find a mushroom, but I can see a nail hole from. Like my cousin, he can walk out in the woods and go, there's one there, one there.
Oh, my mom used to be able to too.
I got to
Yeah,
stand there for
now,
20
but
minutes
you-
going,
I quit
just to
watching.
find
When
one.
they said bobcats. And then Phil and I are driving a bobcat goes running across. Yeah. You know where that, Crown Point dentist office, do you know her? Or maybe you don't know her, but you know where she built? Or back there, you know. Right across from where we're going to Dana. Yeah, I said, that's just why I don't bust your mind. Phil said, there won't be long, it'll be bears. I said, thanks. Don't migrate here, he said. Thanks.
Any chance you want to change your story?
Pardon me?
Is there any chance you want to change your position about why the alcohol was purchased?
If that's why it was purchased. As far as I know, yeah,
Okay, who purchased it?
my wife.
Okay, so I'm just going to read this to you. This is from the officer's report. The receipts were mixed in with the bar's alcohol invoices and other miscellaneous paperwork. The receipts located consisted of one Walmart receipt dated 7/26/25, which included one case of Heineken beer, one case of Budweiser beer, one Walmart receipt dated 7/24/2025, which was 2 days prior, which included one case of Heineken beer, one bottle of Seagram's whiskey, one Walmart receipt dated 4/23/25, which included 2 cases of Budweiser beer, one Walmart receipt dated 4/14/25, which included one case of Budweiser beer, one Walmart receipt dated 4/5/25, which included 2 cases of Michelob Ultra beer, one Walmart receipt dated 3/27/25, which included one case of Busch Light beer, one case of Bud Light beer, and one Walmart receipt which included one case of Heineken beer and 2 cases of Coors Light beer. I asked owner McMurray Holloway how often they go to the store to purchase alcoholic beverages for the premise. Owner McMurray Holloway stated that they have to on occasion whenever they run out of something. While speaking with owner McMurray Holloway, I asked her about that's when they get into somebody being arrested. So this is not cooking alcohol. This is purchased for the business when you're running out of product. So I'm going to ask you again, before I look at denying this permit, do you want to restate your position on this? This is not cooking. This is for the business.
Yeah, I see that now. Let's say, I work full time, so some of it I didn't know about.
Well, you're the one who came in here and just offered sworn testimony. So you should probably know this stuff beforehand. So one of the violations was for the bottle of liquor, then the other charge, I guess, on the violation was for the beer that was purchased unlawfully. You've owned the business for 7 years. Have you been through the alcohol training program?
Yeah, we did that at B&B right when we started. I think that's what you're talking about.
Okay, it's good for 3 years, 5 years for an owner. That covers everything that will keep you in compliance with the state, including where you're allowed to purchase alcohol from.
Okay.
You cannot go to the store and purchase it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, after doing this for 20 years, this is not the first time that you've been doing this. This becomes a habit. This is the first time I think you've been caught. So we have a second violation as well, occurring essentially a month and a half later, a month later. On October 3rd, 2025, you had an alcohol compliance check where officers brought an underage person around to perform a compliance check. You were charged with furnishing alcohol to a minor and allowing a minor to loiter. Do you want to explain that one?
Well, on that one, Marty Workman, he had told us that since there was no smoking at the time, minors could come in.
You are designated as a 21 and over bar, regardless of whether or not you have smoking. I don't think Officer Workman.
Well, that's what we thought too. That's
So
why we
you
didn't want
just,
no minors
so
come
you
in.
just decide to let a kid come in on this day, or what do you normally
I
do?
wasn't there.
Okay. So what is your typical policy regarding minors over the
I
last
covered
7 years? Are you allowing minors in the business?
No, I don't.
So your excuse for this violation is that because you didn't think you had an active smoking exemption form on file that you could let a child come into the bar? Is that how you
I
understand it?
wasn't there.
And then what about furnishing alcohol to a minor? So not only did you let the minor in, you served them alcohol.
Well, on that one, what happened, the reason I wasn't there because her son forgot to take his medication and flipped out, had a fit and left and took off. I went after him. And then right after I left was when they came in. And when I got back, they were already there.
I still don't understand how that explains the violation necessarily.
She didn't card him.
You already said it, you thought it was okay to have minors in the bar because you didn't have a smoking exemption. Why
I
wouldn't
thought
she?
that was kind of off too. That's why we didn't let nobody in. But when the lady
So-
one and the kid come in, I wasn't there. She didn't card them.
So just this one time you decided that it would be okay?
As far as I know, that's the only time there's ever been a minor in here because I card everybody.
That sounds an awful lot like a justification. Let's see what the report says. Did you get to see a photo? Did you sign a violation?
No, I didn't.
Did you get to see a photo of the youth that we use?
Yeah, they were still there when I got there.
You saw a photo of the kid?
He was actually still there.
You did
when I
not
got
see the
there.
kid.
There was never a photo as far as I know.
We don't expose the kids to businesses. They are transported in and out and you do not get to meet them.
Well, I get that, but him and her were still sitting at the bar when I come back in.
What did the person look at like when you, the youth?
Pardon me.
What was your, when you observed the kid sitting at the bar, what did you think? Because if this is the only time that you've ever allowed anybody under 21 in the bar over the last 7 years, I would think that a 18 or 19-year-old would stand out.
He looked kind of young to me, but we got kids coming in when we had that incident and they were watching the video. Marty and his partner were watching the video. They swore up and down the kid that was on the video was like 17, but he's 29. And I know his
Again,
parents, I know when he was born, but they swore up and down. he was
okay,
underage.
so as a business practice, you do not allow minors in the
No,
business.
we don't. I card everybody.
Okay,
Even if I know them, I still, hey, you gotta have your ID on you.
okay, but you said you let this one was allowed in because you thought it was okay, but this is probably the only,
No, that was not because I wasn't there.
well, this is your business and you're the one who's answering for it. So how did a underage kid come into the business, sit down and get served alcohol?
Because I wasn't there. She was by herself.
But you have a full-time job too, so what happens when you're not there?
Everybody gets carded. She can't see very well.
Yeah, she's in
Ask me.
charge of,
You can ask
Checking
Marty on
IDs.
that because she couldn't even see. He had to point out on the paper where to sign. Her vision's not good.
I'm having a problem with most of this testimony, to be honest with you. When you get a permit by the state of Indiana, there are expectations that you maintain a high and fine reputation in the community. You've been sworn in and are offering sworn testimony. I'm struggling with it, to be honest with you. I think we're just making excuses and kind of dancing around some of the questions and answers.
Can I ask what your full-time job is?
Randall Construction out of Christmas or Scotland, just east of, just east
I know
of
where you're at. I know who the owner is.
Gary Randall.
Gary Randall and his son. Yes,
And then I do stuff on my own too, so
yeah,
I'm working all the time.
okay. So who's in charge when you're gone?
My wife,
Your wife who can't see well.
Yeah.
And you're putting her in charge of checking IDs.
no, her son works there too. He checks IDs. She
Yeah.
don't because her vision's blurry. all
What
the
is
time.
his, so does he work there full time?
Oh, well, like if we're open at noon, he's there until at least I get there.
What time do you get there?
That usually depends. It could be 2 in the afternoon, it could be 5 or 6, but he's there till I get there.
Yeah, are you guys seeing the same concerns I am, or is that just me?
Yes.
Okay,
I can't tell you it won't happen again. I'll make sure it don't.
I'm telling you, I think it's the first time you got caught. I don't think it's a one-off incident. What happens is these things just become slow habits. I don't know how many kids actually try and come into your business, but we had a very young one come in the middle of the day and slip
They
through.
tried. We've had people come in with no IDs. We've had underage try to get in.
I think
Yeah.
part of my concern was you admitted that you stated that the officer and the youth were still at the bar when you came in.
Yeah.
What were they doing at that time?
Sitting at the bar.
And you saw them, you acknowledged that they looked young, but you didn't
I
go,
didn't
hey,
think
this
they caught
person
him
looks
because he already
completely
had a
young.
beer. So it wouldn't matter if I carded him or not because the violation had already happened.
So even though they look young and completely out of place, you're just like, they already got a beer.
No, to me, you never know because you got 18, 19-year-old kids that try to get in that look 25 and you got 25s that excise officers will swear they're under 21.
Well, that's just, we as officers have lots of training and experience
Mhm.
in looking at people and determining how old they are. Are we experts at it? No, but we're pretty good. The kids that we use for our compliance programs look their respective ages. We don't use kids who look older. In fact, if we judge a kid to look their actual respective age, which would be up to 20 and a half years of age, but they have too many violations, that tells us that maybe they look older than we perceive them and we won't use them. But that doesn't, I can't imagine. I honestly don't know that it's really happened. If boys in particular have mustaches or facial hair, they have to shave it off. If they come in and you ask them,
Go beard, 7th grade.
if you ask them their date of birth or their age, they will tell you their honest information. It's up to the business to determine. But in this case, you've got this 18 or 19-year-old wasn't even checked, made zero attempt to check the ID. So if you have a practice as a business of checking everybody's ID every time, there's no way they should have happened. So I'm struggling with.
There hasn't been since then. Because we don't have any bartenders.
So you know how violations come across. The first one was a complaint. They related to, I think, an assault and an arrest related to sale of alcohol to an intoxicated person. That's one of the ways we end up in your business. The other one are the compliance checks. The compliance check led to the December 3rd violation. Do you know how often you get compliance checks? Once a year.
They've
So-
been in
so-
since that last
Yeah.
one.
Once a year. At best. Sometimes you may be once every 18 months or 2 years. It just depends on how busy our officers are.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of us and we cover large areas. So to say that this hasn't happened again and basing that simply on the fact that you haven't had another violation isn't completely honest. I mean, you may have well have had other kids in there and just not known it because you didn't check their IDs. What
When
we don't.
I check everybody's ID, make sure they got it on. They're over 21 and they got it on.
You said that. Okay, so a couple options. I've already talked to the police department and found out how you guys interact with the local PD.
Mhm.
They said they haven't really had any issues in a while.
Now we show them video whenever they want it.
Related to this testimony, so we can do two things. We could vote to approve the permit for a standard 2-year period. We could give them a 1-year approval, which is an informal probation. Or we could deny it. If we wanted to deny it, we would have to cite one of the reasons, and I can read through those. The other option we have, and I'm more inclined to go this route, is based on my confusion with the testimony. I want to continue this for 1 month. I'm going to call the officers who are involved with each of these violations and get their perspective on this testimony. They'll be able to watch this video too and help to find out if there is another side that I'm missing. But at this point, I'm not comfortable with it. So, thoughts?
My motion is to continue and let the officers, you talk to them since you're not. I got sure on it.
So we're going to continue this for 1 month. I want to talk to the officers and I want to make sure, I want to see if I'm missing anything in our discussions. I'm not comfortable with your testimony, as I've stated.
Well, so I say, a lot of stuff that happened, I wasn't there. So, you know,
Yeah, but who's in charge of the business? You can't say, I didn't know or I wasn't there as a justification for the violations. One violation is one thing. I mean, but what I'm seeing, you've got 2 violations within a 1.5 month period. That doesn't happen very often. Usually when a business, and it's not uncommon for a business to kind of get a little lax in following the rules. But once you get a violation, just like when you get a speeding ticket, you start driving really well. So I would think after a 1.5 months or even a month after the initial violation, you guys are on high alert, checking everybody. But
oh, I agree. We should have been.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's not like the officer snuck in there with a older looking kid at 8 o'clock at night when you guys were packed. It wasn't even 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 4:12.
Who buys your liquor at Walmart, you know?
Pardon me.
Who's going to buy the liquor at Walmart, you know?
That would be my wife, probably.
And you don't know that?
I don't know for sure, no.
Yeah. So we dealt with this recently in Hamilton County. We had an owner and a general manager both admitting that they were active in the operation of the business, had a violation for illegally purchasing alcoholic beverages. Neither one of them had any idea where the alcohol is coming. Problematic for sure. Okay, we're going to continue this 1 month. Do you have a business card?
No, I don't.
You want to write down your name and cell phone number on here? I will text you the information for next month's meeting. I know you're busy and I hate to pull you out of work for this. So we have all the testimony that we need from you. If for some reason I talk to the officers and they go, no, he was being honest, then we could exercise the right just to go ahead and vote to approve your permit without you showing up. If they disagree with your testimony, then we're going to have you come back in here. So, but that's it. Well, I'll let you know one way or another. Okay. Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Pardon me.
Is there anything else that you want to add?
Just that, like I said, a lot of this stuff, like when that girl and the kid come in, I wasn't even there.
But you walked in while they were at the bar.
They were there. Yeah, he already had a drink, so I never even thought about carding him. I didn't know she hadn't carded him at the time till Marty come back in.
Lots of business operations have floating managers or employees or a teamwork structure where if for some reason any member of the staff sees somebody who looks to be underage or intoxicated, regardless of whether or not they have alcoholic beverages, they step in and they know to check and address it. In theory, if you have a very young looking 21-year-old, they may get checked.
It's very young looking 25-year-olds.
Yep, but that's not what we're dealing with here. So.
Yeah.
So, okay. You're free to go. I'll follow up with you and we will probably see you next month. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Board members, you guys have anything else before I make a motion to adjourn? Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.